Hi everybody, it's Cindy from Ideas Times 2. Welcome back to our channel. Today I have a tutorial for a fun little project that is not expensive, not very time consuming, and I think will be a lot of fun. And I call this an ephemera flip, and it, instead of being kind of your standard ephemera folder, this one flips open and has different spots to put ephemera. So it's a sturdy little book and is a lot of fun, and so I thought we would make this together today. So I'm going to put that off to the side. For this project you don't need a whole lot. A file folder, and it doesn't even matter what size file folder you use because it's up to you the size. There's no size it has to be, just whatever you're comfortable with or whatever your needs are. And so today I'm going to use a standard file folder, which is about 11.5 inches by I don't know, I think 9 inches or so at the tallest, but that doesn't matter because I'm going to cut that off there anyway. And then scraps for collaging. So if you have an out of control scrap box like I do, this is a good project to use up some of those scraps. So let's go ahead and get started. And the first thing you're going to need to do is cut your file folder in half after you decide what size project you want. And I'm going to just cut this right in half, and that should be about 5 3/4 inches. Your two pieces need to be the same size. At the top, bottoms maybe don't matter so much if you're collaging, but you want to make sure the tops are exactly the same, and these look really good. And I'm going to trim the bottoms, but before I do that, this is an important step. If you don't do this next, then you wind up having your bottoms uneven. So I want to have a bit of a spine at the top, and to do that I'm just going to fold both of these pieces on the very first line, which should be 1/4 inch, and I'm going to use my ruler to make sure that's folded in the right spot. So that forms 1/4 inch gusset on there, and I'm going to do the same thing on the second one. Make sure my ruler is lined up. And same thing, another 1/4 inch. And then I'm going to trim the bottom of both of these so they're the same height. And I think I'm going to go with 7 inches. So I'm just going to line the fold edge on the 7 and trim those off the bottom. And same thing on the other one. And I don't think we need this anymore. And that leaves us two pieces that are about 5 3/4 by 7 inches with the 2/4 inch gussets here at the top. So at this stage, you might want to make some decisions before you start gluing. And for this project, I was thinking maybe of having an envelope flip on the inside. Obviously not that envelope. This is one I just happen to have in my scrap box. That's too big. But if you want to have maybe some flips or pockets, you know, a pocket here on the top or pocket on the side, you need to make that decision before we glue anything. But I don't think I have any envelopes handy, and I'll be right back and to kind of show you what I mean. All right, so the next step is gluing these two pieces together, and before I do that, I was thinking for this one I wanted to have some envelope flips, and so I want to go ahead and butterfingers this morning. Glue this down first, so when these are glued together, it's going to be nice and stable in there, and then it will flip out this way once everything is collaged. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this first. And before I glue it down, I need to decide if it's going to open on the side or the top, and I think I'm going to open it on the top. So I'm going to just snip a little off of there. Easier to do before everything is glued down, and I'll fix all this later. So I'm just going to use Fabri-Tac. You can use double-sided tape or glue sticks for this project. If you want to sew or don't want to sew, that's all up to you. There's you know, with crafting, there's a lot of flexibility with paper crafts. My glue is stopped up there. Okay, that should do the trick. The alls come in handy for more than just punching holes in your signatures. All right, so make sure my open edge is on the top, and I'm just going to glue this down. If you don't want to have any flips, don't do any flips. You can skip this step, but I wanted to have kind of show you there's how much flexibility you have with this project. Lots of flexibility. So I'm going to just glue this down, make sure it closes. Opens and closes well. And then I have another one I'm going to do, I'll add to that later. But I'm going to go ahead then and glue the whole thing and glue these together, making sure the top is even. Anything else, if anything else is uneven, it's easy to fix, but if your top is a little wonky, it's a little harder to fix. So, and that's one reason I'm using the Fabri-Tac, because it's forgiving. It dries quickly, but not so quickly that you can't fix your mistakes. If you want to have some extra pockets for tags or cards, you can just glue down the sides and leave a pocket on the top, or don't glue one of the sides and have space there, so you have some flexibility. Since I'm doing the envelope flip, I'm going to glue the whole thing down. Sorry, my glue's just not coming out very well, and this is a new bottle, so I'm not putting as much glue on as maybe it sounds like. it's barely coming out. Gonna give my hand a workout trying to get the glue out of the bottle today. All right, so let's put these together. Making sure that top is nice and even. So then what this does is gives you a cover, a flip, and the back cover. So that's 6 different surfaces that you can add pockets or belly bands or whatever to. And so that's the foundation for this project. And I think for a little extra stability on the top, I'm going to cover that with some cardstock. So I guess I do need this again. And just a 1/2 inch will do the trick. 1/2 inch wide. Make sure that's perfect. Whoops, I knocked it, a little kitty wampus. All right, looks pretty good. Just trim that off. Perfect. Just gives it a little bit more stability, and you don't have to worry about, you know, it folding or bending or anything. It'll stay nice and even. And now comes the fun part, the collaging. So with this project, really the sky's the limit. You know, however you want to cover. If you're not a collager and you don't want to collage, you know, just cover the whole thing with paper. Add your pockets. You know, you could use a scrapbooking kit. You know, I've got a signature for a journal right here that I haven't put together yet. But you know, you could literally just, you know, cut it out, you know, maybe add some do some layering or whatever. But I thought this project would be fun collaged. So this is some of what I have gathered from my scrap box, and I've got some washi tape and cardstock, as well as scrapbooking paper, some file folder, scraps, and a little bit of everything. And the really the only thing you need to be careful with is your at the folds, and I do recommend covering them. Like, you know, I wrapped the spine, and on the inside I did the same thing. I wrapped so that it's basically one collage down the whole stretch. And the reason I suggest that is because it gives a little bit more stability to the spine by, you know, adding the paper there. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with some collaging. And I'm kind of going with birds as my theme, I think, for this one. And I've got some Edith Holden, kind of, I'm not sure about this, it's kind of fall-ish. And some ledger paper and whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the collaging, and let's see, maybe I will start with this. All right, so I am back after finishing the collage on the cover and a little bit started on the back, and added another envelope to the flip here. It's going to take me a while to collage the entire thing, and even even at supersonic speeds, it's going to take a while, and I know nobody wants to watch that, but I want to finish up the cover anyway. So I made a tag that I'm going to do as a belly band, and I need to make sure that the hole for my charm is over the edge on one side. And I'm putting this one more towards the bottom than I did in my example. Because I wanted the mushrooms to look like mushrooms. When I tried it out kind of centered in the middle, I cut off the bottom mushroom. So, but it's still wide enough. It's going to hold whatever I put in there. And I made a cluster. I'm just going to glue that down. That looks pretty good. And I have a couple of charms I picked out. I can't get this open. And I have some ball chain I'm going to use. Might be a little long though, so I'm going to go ahead and trim that off. Oops, I'm dropping stuff all over the place there. maybe this will work. My fingers are kind of cold. Okay. And slip that in there. And that gives the cover of the finishing touch, I think. Super cute. I love that. Maybe a little extra ink right there. Cute. And then I will finish this up, collaging, whoops, ooh. Collaging all of the pages, putting pockets and whatnot to put ephemera in. Okay, let that dry. I think that'll be okay. So, take a last look at the example and fill in all the pockets. I don't think I need three pairs of scissors. And let's see. So I have tags already made to go in all of my spots on this one. Tag for the cover and on the inside. Let's see. Tag there with some vintage lace for a tab. A vertical belly band. Slip this one in there. The tab sticking out the side. The bottom pocket, well, it's the corner tuck. And I made a couple of things to go in there. A tag with the tab on the side. I wanted that to be sticking out over on the side, and a card. And the back, I put another side tuck with a small tag for there. And I think it looks pretty good. So that's done. This one, almost. And, well, I shouldn't say almost. I barely started it. But easily a project that can be finished in a day, depending on how elaborate your tags and things go. So I hope you liked this project, and it's something that you'll want to give a try. If you do, take some pictures and share them with us on our Facebook page. If you are not part of our Facebook group, you'll find us at ideastimestwo on Facebook and on Instagram. If you're not already a subscriber to our YouTube channel, we would love to have you join us, so just hit the subscribe button. To get notifications, just click on the bell. And thank you so much for joining me today while I worked on this little project. And hope you give it a try. So have a fantastic weekend, everybody. And I will see you later. Bye-bye.